Hey, I'm Keano Smith, and this is Clutch Sports. Week 9 of college football was just flat out horrible. Some teams had a fun time beating the brakes off of their opponents. On the other hand, the opponents were just straight out dog water. Let's get into it. Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you what is not new. Our mighty Clemson Tigers have fallen once again to NC State. If you have stayed up to date with Clemson football this far into the season, you should not be surprised. I am a Clemson fan myself, but heaven forbid, if Cade Klubnik throws another interception, I personally would deliver him a get well soon card and cake. NC State came out on top with the score ending in 24-17. Cade Klubnik completed 33 of his 50 passes for 263 yards with 2 interceptions. However, the one bright spot for the Clemson offense was Phil Maffa. He rushed for 16 carries for 84 yards and 2 touchdowns. NC State played an average game but beat a below-average team. MJ Morris threw 11 of 20 passes for 138 yards and 2 touchdowns. KC Concepcion was the star of the show, having 2 carries for 51 yards and 5 receptions for 83 yards and for 2 touchdowns. This game was wild on so many aspects, but hopefully the Tigers regroup and refocus for next week's game. Next is another ACC matchup, Georgia Tech and UNC. This was a high-scoring game. However, GT came out on top, beating the Tar Heels 46-42. Me personally, I haven't watched any of Georgia Tech's games, nor did I care to, but this was a fight. Haynes King for the Yellow Jackets was just pure disgusting. He completed 23 of his 30 passes for 287 yards and 4 touchdowns. He did not do this alone. His running back, Dante Smith, carried the ball 22 times for 178 yards and 1 touchdown. The Yellow Jackets' top receiver, Eric Singleton Jr., caught 8 balls for 117 yards. These are the top Georgia Tech players this week, but I highly encourage you to look at other key players. For UNC, they were far from terrible. Drake May threw 17 for 25 for 310 yards and 2 touchdowns. Amarion Hampton ran the ball almost 30 times and got 153 yards. The Tar Heels rushed for a combined 267 yards. With multiple receivers getting some loving, Bryson Nesbitt caught 3 receptions for 89 yards this game, with both defenses getting a run for their money. God bless them in practice. Coaches, go easy on them. Last but not least, I want to do something special on the show and highlight a team that is not getting the credit they deserve. The James Madison Dukes played Old Dominion Monarchs. Currently, the Dukes are 8-0 and are running through their competition. Jordan McLeod threw 27 for 40 for 340 yards and 3 touchdowns with 2 interceptions. With a non-existent running game, the receiving corps can do all the talking they want. The top 2 receivers this game are Reggie Brown, who caught 9 receptions for 142 yards and 2 touchdowns. The next receiver is Elijah Sarrett with 8 receptions for 139 yards and 1 touchdown. James Madison's defense barely held the Monarchs down for 415 total yards. Moving on to the Monarchs, Grant Wilson completed 26 of his 36 passes for 277 yards and 2 touchdowns. Running back Keyshawn Wicks carried the ball 11 times for 74 yards, with Kadarius Calloway for 17 carries for 66 yards. As James Madison continues to win out, hopefully they continue to climb in the top 25 college football teams. That's a wrap for this week's college football news. To stay up to date, make sure to check out my show every week to stay tuned into your favorite sports teams. I'm Keano Smith, and this is Clutch Sports.